Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wing Cat Sports, and it's the weekly Red Wings breakdown. Very, very bad week for the Red Wings. We
Very
still have
bad.
not won a game. We are on a 5-game losing streak going
Awful.
into Ottawa on Monday, which you did talk about somewhat that game in our last video, but I'm able to get ahead of it for once this time. But bad week and a confusing but understandable trade deadline as well. We did make a trade. But we'll go through the week as it went. Right, you started your game on Tuesday. You didn't play. You played sloppy for the most part. Your passing game was terrible against Carolina. Couldn't really get anything going. Kind of maybe got some life going near the end of the game, but you just couldn't finish it out. You played bad. You ended up losing 2-1 though. Your defense showed up that game enough for you to have a chance. And then you go into your game on Thursday against Utah, which you should win. That was a must-win game for you, and you lost that game 4-2. Again, just sloppy playing. And then yesterday, you started out strong. You looked good. You looked like you could be a playoff team, but you ended up showing that you're not a playoff team and losing 5-2 to the Capitals because you couldn't hold on.
Yeah,
It's a
I,
bad week.
I mean, this is like you said. The trade deadline was understandable, and a lot of people are pissed at Steve Eiserman, but he's right. He's right in one sense. He's right in the fact that why are you going to give up high draft picks and really good prospects to sign somebody really good and not even make the playoffs?
Yeah.
And that's where the Wings are at. Why are you going to do that? You don't do that when you don't even know if you're making the playoffs. You do that when you're trying to put yourself in a position to win the cup. That's when you do stuff like that.
Yeah.
You give up number one picks, you give up high level prospects. You don't do that when you're not even going to make the playoffs, it looks like.
Yeah.
The Wings have to prove that this group has to show that they're good enough to spend money on and to make those kinds of moves for. Right now, like I said, you can pick up the best defenseman on the market right now and the best forward. You still might not make the playoffs the
No,
way this team is playing.
I don't think they are at the moment making
And
the
that's
playoffs.
the problem I do have with Eiserman is this is year 7. I feel, like I said, we are behind. And for whatever the reason is, you're the GM. We've given you a lot of time to turn this into a playoff team, and you still haven't. That's where I have. I don't blame him for what he did at the trade deadline because, right, this team
What are you going to do?
blows.
You are either going to make your team worse because you decided in the future worse because you decided to go after someone who's not going to sign here because you don't have cap space.
And I don't know. I'm probably wrong. This team doesn't blow. This team,
It's
I mean,
inconsistent.
McClellan made us look like it for a few weeks. McClellan made it look like, he was motivating them, getting them to play hard every night. And they were like 15-5 for him before this streak. Now they're like 15-10, which isn't all that, it's okay, but it's not anything earth shattering.
No, but I mean, they play better. You know they can play better. And
Right,
you
we
do lose
know
Joe
they can.
Villano, but Joe Villano has done absolutely nothing this year. I know a lot of people like him, and they're upset that we traded him, but he's done nothing. He has like 5 points this year.
Right.
10 points at
The
most.
guy we picked up has more points than he does. At least he has, 9 goals and 11 assists. I mean, that's still a lot more than Joe Villano has
You
had.
do also lose Christian Fisher. You put him on waivers. Columbus picked him up, but it is what it is.
It is, right.
You're moving on. You're trying to let these young guys play. You get Peter Mrazek back on the Red Wings, so some nostalgia factor there. We'll see how he plays.
What are they going to do with Alex Lyon?
Looking at the contract situation, Lyon will not be back next year, and Kosa will not be up now because I believe Peter Mrazek is signed to next year.
He's going to be up in case something happens. You have 2 aging guys in net next year. You have no definite number 1 in net next year if we're going with Talbot and Mrazek, which is what it looks like we're going with. So if that's the case, both those people's contract runs out after next year, and you'll be ready for Kosa in 2026,
27, because he is signed on. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm correct about the said contract and exactly when he's a free agent, because that does come into play.
Mrazek's done next year, and so is Talbot.
So Mrazek, he's currently. I want to make sure I get everything right about Mrazek. So he is currently 33 years old.
Right.
Has been in the AHL for 11 years. Right now, he signed a contract extension with the Blackhawks for this year for 2 years. He's being paid 4.25 million. Technically, they're spending less money than you were previously on goaltending. Um, and he'll be an unrestricted free agent in 2026. So he will be signed on through the 25-26 season, and then he will be a unrestricted free agent for 2026-2027, and he will be making 4.25 million next year. And again, he's going to be 33, so obviously not Cam
Right.
Talbot age. He had his best years in Detroit when he was playing. After he left Detroit, he had so play. So let's see what happens here. Your defense is better than Chicago's, so potentially he'll also play better for that reason. Peter Mrazek overall, he's not a bad goaltender. Some people will say he is not the greatest, but he's not
He's
terrible. He's a serviceable goaltender, and
serviceable.
and
That
he
sounds right.
and he will likely win you more games than Huso was. And we'll see
Well,
where he can
Huso, yeah.
and we'll see where he compares to Lyon with how he's been playing as of late, because Lyon's
He's
been
probably
shaky.
just like Lion. He'll come up with an occasional miraculous game, and then he'll have crap games, more crap games. Then he'll probably play pretty average, steady for most of his starts. I just don't. It's not. It's a nothing move. It's nothing we're talking about. He's just going to be, sharing the goal with Talbot next year. And if either one of them gets hurt, that's when Post is going to come up.
Yep, because
Um,
that's where you're rolling with.
and that's what you're going with.
And I don't know again how happy people will be with that, but
Well, that's it. And next year, like I said, whoever the Wings pick up, or however the team is picked up, that's the team that you're going to take in. And Steve Eiserman's going to be determining, do I pick up anybody worthwhile to get these guys over the hump?
young
This
guy.
year, you're not making the playoff. You have to show this guy. You went on a 4-game losing streak before the freaking trade deadline. I
And you
mean,
did
that's
nothing.
just
You
right.
did nothing.
So that determines it. You don't look like you want to. You don't look like you want to play.
And again,
And I don't know. Lots of people are saying that the Four Nations affected Larkin because he hasn't played the same since he's gotten back.
the whole team
I
hasn't played
He
the
doesn't look.
same.
It probably derailed our momentum in some ways. I
I said the
guess.
whole team hasn't played the same since they come back. The team has not looked good. They've been playing sloppy. You know, and if it's one thing to look at what next year's going to be, the young guys are playing. They're playing now. They'll be up again next year. Maybe Danielson will be up next year. Maybe Mazur will be up next year, even though he got hurt.
Palika.
No, well, maybe depending on
I mean, their
how
defense blows.
depending on
I
how
mean, it don't blow. But like I said, to me, Sider isn't even the best defenseman we have. He's
right.
out there playing most
I
of the
could
minutes.
I
I
could
think he's
see
good.
right now you have I think three for sure. I don't know how much long Sherratt and Petrie are on the team. And Gustafson's only signed for a year, so I guess yeah, it's very possible Palikia could be up next year, depending on how his offseason goes. But I don't think so. I think they'll probably sign someone, give Palikia another year or two. But Danielson, they might just say screw it, bring him up. Patrick Kane will be gone next year. That will open up a spot. You're gonna have a couple other roster spots
Yeah.
probably opening up. And you're going to have a very young team. This team is capable of making the playoffs, but with how they're playing and what the rest of the year is looking like, they're not going to. You have the toughest schedule in hockey. You have nobody who's under 500 except for the Buffalo Sabers, which you're playing this week. You are not in favor of making the playoffs, and you're not going to make the playoffs because of the reasons of you lost all your momentum. Maybe something happens, but right now you are sitting currently 2 points back of Columbus for a playoff spot, and
So
they have a
make
game
the
up on you.
playoffs.
And you have three
Start
points
playing
back of
better.
Ottawa. Right now,
You have as good a chance as anybody.
right now,
Go win the game.
right now, you are playing Montreal and New York are ahead of you. They have tiebreakers, they're ahead of you in the point system, along with New York having 68 points. Boston, they gave up. They traded
Right,
people
Boston.
away, but they're only 2 points behind you. The New York
And you have the
Islanders,
Flyers who are coming up on your ass.
the New York Islanders are at 63 points, only 3 points back of you. And then you got Philadelphia, 62 points, only 4 points back of you. You are not in a good situation. There is a lot of teams playing for this playoff spot, and you have the worst situation, and you are likely not going to make it for that reason. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
You have the hardest schedule remaining, and your team is not
I don't think
up
it's
to it.
when you say the hardest, I don't think it's like this by leaps and bounds. They're playing the hardest schedule. They're just playing the same teams everybody else is playing and probably playing a few more tougher teams. Win the games. Go out there and show Steve Eiserman this team can make the playoffs. Go make the playoffs and then get your ass kicked because that's what's going to happen.
You're right. You
But
could sweat first round if you make the
but you know
playoffs.
what?
But
We're not getting the top pick anyways. We never have any luck in that stupid draft. So
you're
go
getting
ahead,
you're
play
getting
your
nowhere near the
asses off.
top pick. But yeah.
Show Steve Eiserman you're worth it.
Anyways, we'll go look ahead for the next week as our rant for how the team's been doing has ended. But next week, you have a chance to at least win a game. But we'll see what happens. We already talked about Ottawa on Monday. You're going to be in Ottawa. Must win, right? You're
I think so.
You're 3 points back of them. You beat them. You put yourself in a good situation. If you lose, you put yourself in a worse one. So it's a must-win game. Then you're going to play Buffalo at home. You should win that game. Then you're going to go play the Hurricanes in Carolina, likely going to lose because you have done terrible against Carolina the past few years.
Carolina's a hell of a team, and they always play their best against you.
And then Sunday, the 16th, you're going to play the Golden Knights, which are one of the best teams in the West. Again, luckily you're at home. Probably could take care of it that way. But again, it's not easy. You're playing these top teams.
Right.
And it's not. And then let's just add insult to injury. You're going to go play the Capitals next Tuesday. Well, not next Tuesday, but the 18th, you play the Capitals in Washington again. So there's probably a loss there. And then you're going to go to Vegas.
That don't sound good.
So you probably lost it then there. Then you're in Utah.
You could have a 10-game losing streak.
Then you're in Utah for a game. Then you go to Colorado. Then you come back to play the Senators. And then you play the Bruins to end out the month. You are probably not favored in almost any of these games. You said you might get lucky against Utah, but you just lost 4-2 to Utah.
Right.
And Buffalo. There's the only 2 games I could see you having a good chance of winning. You got to get lucky in about the rest of these games with how you're playing right now. You can't pass the puck. You're doing somehow you're getting 40-plus shots on net, but only getting 2 goals. So you're getting no good scoring chances on anything. And you're just struggling. And there needs to be proof of something different. And it sucks that Eichmann can't really do more with the team because you don't want to make the team worse by trading away too many people. And now
there's no point. Yeah, I mean, but
because now you trade away your future for a rental that you can't sign because you're at your cap.
You won't make the playoffs anyways.
You won't make the playoffs anyways. I don't think a lot of people understand that. You're at cap. You have no wiggle room. So either you trade your future just to have a guy who's not going to be on the team in a year or two, or you keep your future and hope that next year these young guys play even better because they do play well. All the young guys. Kasper's played great this season. Soderblom has shown he's done great this season. Joe Hansen has shown he's done great. Evanson has shown he's done great. It's just everybody else has not fully picked up the pace going, and it sucks. But it is what it is. And we'll see how the year goes.
And the fan base is impatient, and that's understandable. I expected more by this time, but you can't. With the team they have now, Eiserman did the right thing.
You have to have a good rest of the month to even give this fan base hope. You have to. And the problem is it's not likely because of the teams you're facing. You're facing the number 1 teams in each division. Colorado is one of the best teams in the West. Your only hope is that when you play Ottawa,
and they picked up Charlie McAvoy. So
it's not going to be easy. You're playing the Capitals, who are fantastic. You're playing Carolina, who's doing fantastic. You're playing the Golden Knights twice, who's doing fantastic. You might get lucky in Utah. You might. In Buffalo, Bruins have given up, and then you got to catch up when you play the Senators. But besides that, you are in trouble. And there's no real light at the end of the tunnel. But we'll see what ends up happening. And we'll just hope for a good rest of the month. But we'll end it there. If you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about the Wings and what's going on, trade deadline, all that stuff. Until next time, see everybody soon.